Yeah, it's a SIG release. Did you start recording? Okay. Hi, it's a SIG release meeting on September 9th, 2024. Yeah, one thing I think we'll have a short meeting today because many of us need to drop in a few minutes. So Liam, welcome back. Thank you so much. Glad you're back. I think the one thing that is dear to me for the R4 release is the one that you suggested. Liam, probably we should start an issue and probably start a document on the release hygiene, like what we need to do, how the each repos is going to be maintained, and when we cut the release, what are the things that we need to uh, ensure. We need to ensure that the catalog repo is in sync uh, with rest of the code. Or do we need to make it sync with every PR? For example, if there's an API change, if there's a change in the CRD, things like that, should we always keep it in sync, or should we ensure as a part of the release process? Uh, uh, I request you, can you help us to jumpstart the documentation, because you and Fiacre are the one who has the best knowledge of that.
Yeah, I guess so. I think we still, I think we can do some early work to make life easier for us. One thing I think that we make to come to a decision on the way we're going to do the tagging in catalog, because that's very fundamental. So we can't let that, if we don't have our in effect, that's our model for the release, and it probably doesn't matter what that model is that much, as long as everybody follows and knows what the model is. Most of the big problems we had was mismatches and bad references. Like, though it turned out to a very almost, I don't think there was maybe there was one or two small things in the code base, but it was kind of bad references and the catalog being not matching what was in the tests and stuff that was caused most of the issues. So I think we can make life easier for ourselves by thinking out the way we have the catalog done a little bit better, and also documenting that maybe. Because if we understand that, then we can build something around that to make sure that we can do some, maybe we can do a sanity check script or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I
what
think
other people think about that.
yeah, just like you said, I think our goal is to probably first document, understand, and then probably automate as much as possible. I mean, there could be still some manual stuff, but probably take steps towards automation, and then I think that's the goal, DM. So I think probably if you can make our R4 release a much better experience than R3. We initially thought, well, going for branching, we're gonna make it easier than R2, but then we found it on few issues, right?
Well, it was that the scripts that the end-to-end tests relied on tagging rather than branching. I think we ended up with branches and tags, and it was a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
But to be honest, that isn't something that I'm much of an expert on. So I don't know whether I'm going to have much time to spend on that. Unfortunately, Bala, I can help somebody else do it.
Yeah. I mean, initially, Liam, if you can start the documentation, then I will request also Fiacre and Sagar to pitch in, so that if you have the document of the actual release thing that we need to do, the hygiene. You mentioned a few things, right? It's in the meeting notes, in the previous meeting notes.
But isn't the tagging strategy really an item for this SIG to sort out? Writing a document won't help that.
Yeah, it's basically not only that, all the checklists that we need to do for the release, right?
Yeah, but the tagging is the most fundamental thing, the tagging versioning.
Yes, but the thing is, if you go with the branching stuff, right now we are branching every catalog, and even in my view, I think if my understanding is correct, R3 we are referencing to the branches in catalog. We are saying origin / to the branches. I don't think we
I'm
are.
not sure what's supposed to, like I say, it's not my area of expertise. I mean,
Yeah, that's basically what it is. As Bala said, yeah. With at one point working with Sagar, he noticed that you can use instead of a tag, you can use branch, just pointing to origin, whatever, or origin branch / branch,
Yeah.
which actually got us going at that point. And catalog, I guess, can be also tags can be created on anything. So it doesn't really matter if we're using branches or not. Branches are just very convenient. If we're support in the future, if we'll be supporting some version, let's say somebody has this deployed in their infrastructure, and we're committing fixes to it and stuff like this, because upgrading is not always feasible strategy, just saying just install the latest. So but it doesn't collude in any way with tags. So the release process actually will be more or less the same. What's remaining is the catalog, but catalog is kind of special thing, and we can do it just by having like branches and having like a rolling release on this branch thing. That's, of course, everything's up for discussion, but it doesn't have to, for a catalog, it doesn't have to be that strict, I guess. Also, I was thinking, because I'm on the side, I'm experimenting with testing pull requests before they get merged. So I'm just tinkering a bit with templating the catalog repo, because if you want to use some different naming, let's say for Docker images, to use them, like, you wouldn't name them latest, otherwise they will collide with what we have in produced by CI if something gets merged. So let's say you call them some whatever, just add something at the beginning. You will have to change the catalog content as well. So I was just thinking about switching it to kind of like a template repo based on which every release there's going to be generated other repository with catalog with versions, this and that, for those. So we don't generally working on it, we don't have it hard coded, it's rather a template, and doing the release you just template it with some version, whatever.
Yeah, thanks, Rado. Let us know how that one goes. But in this document, essentially, hopefully, when we do the release,
and just Bala, I like I say, it's not my area, and I really want to time to do this because I'm buried in the architecture stuff now at the moment. I'll stick to, well, the implementation architecture, I suppose.
How about we engage a documentation team with that? So it doesn't have to be very technical. We just need some kind of the base for it, maybe based on some other projects or something, and then we can work on technical details. So I guess the documentation team possibly could make something there.
Rado, my intention was, like the R3, right? So some of the heavy lifting towards the end was done by you, Liam, Fiacra, and Sagar, right? So I think that experience, I think whatever we had to go through to make the release of R3.
Like I say,
yeah,
Bala, I can help, and I can give advice maybe on but really, when it came to the R3 release, I was just helping to get it out the door. I won't be able to do any heavy lifting in this task,
No, that's okay. That's okay. We can request either between Rado. Probably we can try to request Fiacra and Sagar. Yeah, Liam, probably you can be a advisory for this, and then probably we can find somebody, one of us to do this task.
I will start, and then other people can just chime in if they have something to add in this matter. So I will start doing this. Speaking of which, there's this PR for contributing guide and community guide. Thanks, Liam, by the way, for your additions. There are two things that are left there. I have to change, so like some links missing and stuff like this. So thanks for looking into this. So if just anyone wants to just scroll through this, see if anything's missing, sticking out, or my horrible English somewhere around there. So be really grateful for looking into this. And I think this will be also a base for other documents, because I guess the base is to have the roles defined before we start pinning responsibilities on people and stuff. All right, cool.
Awesome.
So
thank you, Rado. And to the original point, probably you'll start with the documentation. Probably I'll also pitch in. Then probably will ask request Fiakra and Sagar to pitch in, and Liam, please act as advisory for us in that one. So yeah, I think that's one of the main things, Rado. I mean, obviously you and I were talking about this. Once we do that, probably we want to make sure that for the R4 release, what all different areas like test infra, catalog, and the rest of the code, the branching is pretty straightforward. Essentially, we are talking about test infra, and when we branch catalog as well, how do we actually ensure it reflects everything in the code? That is one main ask. The second thing is how do our test infra work with that? So I think those two are the two critical points, I think. Once we do that, probably rather we can figure out how to automate some of them if at all possible.
Yeah, so for test infra, I would say it's also a matter of just templating it and then seeding it with whatever data we need, because what we were doing up to this point was just basically looking at the previous PR, where was something changed, like what version was put where, which also leads to errors. That's not the optimal solution, but it ultimately would be like a config file with versions of whatever we need there, which gets bumped as the release goes, and that's basically it. I don't think it's not doable for R4. So I think that's going to be the way for test infra at least. For a catalog, it's a bit more complicated issue. I'm not that familiar on all ins and outs of it, but yeah, I guess the catalog would need some work, maybe not like a major redesigning, but at least a good documentation what's going on there.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Rado. You can start, and then obviously we'll request the community to pitch in as well. Of course, thanks, Liam, for that advisory thing. So yeah, that was the main topic I wanted to discuss, Rado, for today's call. Thanks, Liam, for attending this. Yeah, and then Rado, anything in your wish list for today's call, or anybody else? Tal, Wim, I see Kathleen, and I also see Vardhan.
I basically said my bits, what I'm working on. No major updates for now. So.
All right. So Rado, one thing, do you think you'll be able to travel for the summit that will happen next month?
Where is it?
So there is an FEO summit being planned in the Bay Area, in one of the Google campuses.
Bay Area.
Yeah. The dates are TBD.
I'm not sure company would pay for it. I have to ask, but tough chance.
Yeah, tough times. Yeah, please. Yeah. To be honest, I'm also doing the same thing in my company. But I just wanted to give a heads up if you want to start that dialogue. I think it would be great if you can come, and then probably if you can come, we could present some of our ideas for the R4 release process roadmap.
Yeah, would be cool.
Yeah, please try from your side. Cool. I think Wim will be there. I think obviously travel with Liam. Are you traveling?
Yeah, I'm planning to. Yeah, I don't. I
Awesome.
have. I kind of have approval in principle, but of course we have to. But from both company and my good wife, important to get that really as well. So yeah.
Awesome, cool, thank you. And this like,
Believe
Wim,
it or not, it's not automatic for me either. I'm trying to get funding for it too. It will probably be okay.
Yeah, I think Tal. I think I started the internal process. We'll see. Wim, I believe you're traveling, right?
Yes, yeah, it depends on the date because I have some clashes, but normally, yes, yeah.
Okay, cool, awesome. Awesome, Vardhan, are you coming? Vardhan or Kathleen?
No, Bala.
Oh, you're not traveling, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think if there is nothing else to discuss, probably can give a few minutes of your time because I need to drop in a few minutes anyway. So was Wim. So unless there is nothing else, probably can end this call now.
Yep. That's all from me as
Thank you
well.
very much, Bella.
Cool. Thank you so much. Thank you, Liam. Yeah. Have a good day, everyone. Take care.
All right.
Bye. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.